Good morning, boys and girls. So, we are going to have a fun filled week of talking about history this week. This is February. We have a lot of things that we can celebrate in the month of February. Of course, there's Valentine's Day. We've got our Valentine's Day party coming up this week. We've got all kinds of things with that. But the most important thing is that I want to go over Black History Month with you guys. I love history, you guys know I do, and I love talking about the different things. And so, since this is the month of February, this is usually whenever we will celebrate Black History Month. It's also Abraham Lincoln's birthday, and Frederick Douglass's birthday. Abraham Lincoln was one of the presidents of the United States, and Frederick Douglass was an enslaved man who fought to end. Excuse me, fought to end slavery. So we are going to also, we're going to pick a famous person, an artist, a musician, any person that you could think of to celebrate this month with, and we're gonna make a biography with him. I'm gonna teach you guys how to do a biography. So we're gonna include in that biography the date and the place of the death, the date and place of death and the birth. We're going to include in that biography checklist the family information, lifetime accomplishments, major events in lifetime, and lasting impacts on society. So we can start with, for example, we'll go ahead and we can start with Martin Luther King. And let me just go ahead and I'll bring that up here for you. So we want to kind of just go over that here just a little bit, as to where he was born. So we want to definitely include that in there. We want to definitely include like his birthplace, his date of birth, because we're going to make a little biography on him, and we're going to go over him today. So Martin Luther King, he was actually born Michael King Jr. So I want you guys to just remember that he was born on January the 15th, 1929. So when we're making our biographies, we definitely want to include that date of birth in there, and then we can also include if they're still alive, the death. So we know that Martin Luther King, he passed away on April the 14th, 1968, and he was also a Baptist minister. He was an activist. He was a he was very into the politics, and so he was a very prominent leader in the civil rights movement that was in 1955. So we got that so far with that. So we definitely want to do that, and then we're going to go over. We need to put in like a little bit of like his family information in there. So of course we know that he was a black church leader, and we could maybe put in there that he overseen the right to vote, desegregation, labor rights, and other civil rights. We can put that in there maybe, but we definitely want to look to see about his family in there as well. So we do know that he was married to Coretta Scott, and they were married in 1953. And his children were Yolanda, Martin III, Dexter, and Bernice. So we can put that in our biography as well. Of course, we've been going over a little bit of his accomplishments about how he was a Baptist preacher. He was also a part of like different movements, the civil rights movements. We can put all of that information in there. What he did. And you don't have to choose just this one. You can choose your own famous person. But this is just to kind of give you a little bit of ideas on that. So we've been going over his lifetime accomplishments. Excuse me. And what he did. And of course, we know the lasting effect that he put on us. He was trying to end slavery, and he was trying to make us all equal. So we can definitely put that in there as well as our different things there as far as like his accomplishments or just some special things that he did. So when you choose the person that you want to make a biography about this week, you want to include all of that information in there, so that way we can have all of that to go by. And then you're going to make a poster to go with that. So I want to see everybody's artwork. I want you to make a poster of the person that you are making that biography on, and we can maybe even have like a little contest with that. So we're just going to go over different things with that. So I think it would be really fun for us to all, work on that together and just be able to have different ideas for that. So just don't forget, when you're doing the biography, you want to choose somebody. And of course, if you need help with that, you can definitely come to me and I can definitely help you choose that person. But we want to definitely include, just like the things I just went over, the date and the place of death and the birth. The family information, which we went over Martin Luther King's wife and his children, lifetime accomplishments. I mean, we could go on and on about Martin Luther King, but he wanted us all to be equal, and he wanted us all to be together as one. Excuse me. So we know all of that's in there, and don't forget that we definitely want to make sure that we include that poster with it, because I think that will add some extra to it as well. And then to add on to that, I think it would be really nice to add on like a timeline of everything. So we're going to learn about timelines. And does anybody know what a timeline is? Because I think this would help us out with learning the history and how the facts fell into place. So if does anybody know what a timeline is? Right. This is like order. A timeline can show you like the order and the sequence of events in history, and as well as the cause and the effect of the relationship between them as well. So they can also help you to learn about different time periods, which we're learning about Black History Month. So we can learn about what's happening back then during the civil rights movement, and then what's going on now. There's different, we can put in there about different historical figures in there, so that will be really neat to go over. And we can think about different historical information to also put in there. So we're definitely going to work on that this week as well. And then of course, we're going to, I'm getting ready to hand you guys out your worksheets to work on. And then after lunch, once we come back after lunch, we are going to start working on our biographies and choosing who we want to, have as our famous person that we want to write that biography on, do that timeline on, and that poster. So hopefully you guys, if you have any questions, you can definitely come to me about that. So I'm going to hand you out this worksheet here. It is a comprehension worksheet. It's going to have a famous person at the top of it, and we're going to read it as a class, and then we're going to go over the different ideas of that, the characters, events, and the details in that worksheet as well. So but for right now, I'm going to give you guys the worksheet. You guys can do that. And then after lunch, of course, again, we're going to go over and do the biography. So